exactly how it was done in 1831. Today, we're making mole poblano from the famous Mexican cookbook Novísimo, Arte, cocina, following the original recipe as close as possible to truly understand this magical dish. We start with the chilies. We have ancho, which brings some sweet raisin note and mild heat, pasilla, which brings a touch more heat and a tangy herbal note, often 2 to 1, the 1 being the ancho. It's worth noting the mulatto, which is very chocolatey and prune-like, and perhaps the reason for modern-day addition of chocolate, did not appear until at least the late 1800s. We remove the stems to avoid bitterness, preserve the seeds for later use. The recipe then calls for the removal of the vein, which shows incredible understanding of a native ingredient. They knew way back in 1831, this is where the sharp heat lies, and we want to control that. We then toast to get the aromatic oils near the skin going, deepening the sweetness, turning the raisin note into chocolate and prune, the herbal note into earthy, coffee-like depth. We then toast the seeds for some nutty, slightly bitter aroma, sesame seeds for some toasted notes, but more importantly, to give the whole dish body. Perfect. Now the spices, both famous 1831 recipes, call for cloves and cinnamon. Cloves for the sweetness and almost medicinal-like warmth, cinnamon for the woody, vanilla-like sweetness. In Novísimo, we have the addition of coriander seeds for some citrusy brightness, black peppercorns for some sharp, earthy heat. We once again toast until fragrant. Grind or pound this into powder form along with our chilies. Once you can really smell the raisin, we add a dash of water and turn this into a paste so it doesn't burn under high heat. Perfect. We grind our toasted chili and sesame seeds. Set this aside. Now the tomatillos, which brings acidity, umami, and freshness. Just by touching it, you can feel the stickiness caused by the pectin, which would act as a natural emulsifier for our sauce. We blanch to soften the acidity and remove the grassy note. Pound into a pulp and combine with our seeds. Now we brown our meat. Smoking hot pan, we add a generous amount of lard. Turkey goes into sear, often a whole turkey. Our only deviation from the original is that we scale down the recipe slightly. The practice of boiling it and making a sauce separately didn't appear until at least the late 1800s. And given that turkey can be lean, and probably even more so back in the day, we enrich this with some ham hock, rich in collagen, which would turn into gelatin, thickening our sauce, called loin, for some clean, meaty aroma. And as usual, through heat, we rapidly evaporate the surface moisture, allowing us to get past boiling point. Then we start to develop complex, meaty flavor via the Maillard reaction. Later, nutty, roasted notes thanks to caramelization. Once everything is beautifully golden, purely for the purpose of visual demonstration, we briefly stretch out our meat. Our chili and spice paste goes in. We lower the heat slightly to avoid burning. And first, we evaporate all of the water content from our paste, concentrating its flavors. Then we allow the paste to start imparting their fat-soluble flavors into our already extremely yummy lard and turkey and marrow fat mixture. The Spanish text calls for the paste to splash, which I assume meaning for the fat to split, a sign that we've driven off most of our water content. Now our tomatillo and seed mixture goes in. Thin with a touch of water, just to make sure we lift all the fond, all those tasty burnt bits. Concentrated Maillard goodness, caramelized sweetness. One clean bottom, meats packet. just enough water, cover everything. We salt very generously for the first time. I assume to reduce the moisture being released from our paste. Low simmer until the meats are tender and the sauce clears. After 90 minutes of flipping, basting, splashing, we have this wonderful, glossy, naturally thick, silky sauce coating the back of the spoon with extremely rich and deep chocolatey flavors. And this is as good a Turkish stew as I'll ever make. It's true.